Hi, these are the instructions for the whiteboard work on the Wikinomics chapters 3, 4, and 5. Before I get into talk about that, I want to review something from chapter 2 that I didn't have a chance to talk about in class, at least not in Archbold, and that's Coase's law, C-O-A-S-E-S. It's on page 55, 56. A lot of this Wikinomics stuff sounds like a lot of good feelings and getting along together, collaborating is a nice sounding kind of word, but it's grounded in some very carefully done economic theory. One of those is Coase's law, and Coase says simply that any given organization will keep growing internally as long as the costs of growing internally are cheaper than the cost of contracting externally. So if the university will keep adding more and more classes and hiring more and more professors, as long as that's the cheaper, more efficient way to work than having a contractual relationship with University of Toledo or University of Dayton or someplace else that provides in which courses are shared and provided in some kind of a mutually agreeable relationship. What Coase says is that you'll keep growing as long as the costs of doing things internally are cheaper than doing them through an external contract. What the Wikinomics people are saying is that there's enough new technology and new ways of doing things that it's quite possible to do more through contracting with others than it is by doing it yourself. That the cost of working externally has dropped dramatically, and so there's just a much wider range of things that can be done in some kind of a collaborative manner. So the point simply is that this Wikinomics stuff we're talking about and the examples we're going to start working through right now are not just feel-good ideas. They're ideas that make economic sense in an era when technological innovation has changed the whole structure of transaction costs, which is at the heart of economic theory. Okay, so what do you do with this whiteboard? We have 3 chapters we're working on this week. Each chapter talks about a different kind of innovation that's going on in the marketplace in a variety of different kind of companies. The information I've posted and built into the whiteboard gives a 4-topic structure. What I'd like to see you do is, as a group, in bits and pieces, sort of like putting things up on the board, begin to shape within that structure a kind of careful response to the chapters. I would probably try to keep it organized by chapters because each chapter has a particular idea. The first section is a careful description of what that idea is. Imagine this being something in the range of 1 to 2 pages. We don't know for sure how this is all going to look. 1 to 2 pages of a kind of a careful, objective overview of what's being said there. Again, the first section is identified as a group project with no particular individual's voice, no particular person's point of view showing up. And I'd imagine perhaps not all of you contribute to this first section, but a number of you will, and it'll change around, and it'll be a very readable, relatively short document. Then the middle 2 sections are much more geared towards specific applications. Okay, how do we look at the outline? And here I'm asking you to really record by companies, so that someone would say, okay, I work at so-and-so place, and here's what we face, and I see the information on prosumers, which is the chapter 5, as being helpful to us because of so-and-so. It's that kind of thing. And then you put your name at the end of that paragraph. Those paragraphs really shouldn't be edited by other people unless there's an obvious grammatical mistake or something that needs to be done to make it clear. But that really is your idea. You're taking ownership for that. So then we go through, we do the 2 sections of application that have specific names attached to them, and then finally we do a kind of executive summary. This is the kind of thing where you are being evaluative. The idea of peer production, prosumers, etc. You're going to say this is the basic concept, and it has the following kinds of applications that we see, but it also has some significant weaknesses that we're aware of, and we think these ideas have value in the following kinds of settings and should be seen with caution in other settings. So you're doing a kind of brief executive summary. That's maybe 2 paragraphs, 3 paragraphs. It's actually the kind of thing that if somebody was to ask you what you're learning from this book, you could say, well, what we found is, and it's kind of your evaluative summary. It's not just describing what's being said, but it's adding the value based on your own reflections on it to the product. You remember the Rightboard has a comment section, and I'd encourage you to use that. If you think that something is off base, you might want to try putting a comment in first. I'll be watching, or depending on what class this is, Corey, Carrie, or Trevor will be watching, and if we think either the style is getting messed up, or just simply that we have a suggestion for how to move this in a little different direction to make it a tighter document, or another way of focusing it, we'll put comments in also. So none of us, certainly not me, not I, have an absolutely clear picture of how this should end up. We're creating it together. In some ways, we're trying to do exactly what Wikinomics talks about. We're co-creating this this document, and even the nature of what it's supposed to do may evolve over the time of the course or in the weeks ahead. If somebody has the nerve, I don't mean that hostilely, if somebody has the nerve, you could even consider trying a different set of headings than the 4 that I've built into the Rightboard structure. All of that is changeable. At any point, if you find yourself getting stuck with the technology, feel free to email me or Carrie or Trevor. Rightboard is kind of a clunky tool in terms of the formatting. I find it hard to get headings and all that kind of stuff done just the way I want to. If you're doing a long section, sometimes you can make your life easier by typing it in a regular Word document and then pasting it into the Rightboard. That's something that's very easy to do. Have fun with your first pass through this, and we'll do it a couple more times so that by the end of the course, this should be a pretty familiar process to you. Good luck.